Hi, welcome to SPR Sports Picks. I'm Peter Loshak. His name is Mike Brenner. Today is Tuesday, November 22nd. It's week 13 in college football. I'm Mike Brenner. We are in the heart of the end of the college football season, and you know what that means.
Heart of the matter, baby.
All these teams are like, jockeying for, some are disappointed, some are looking ahead, and of course we've got the college football playoffs coming up, and we did a call with Ross Benjamin from RB Wins last week where we discussed the playoff implications and the playoff scenarios, and now we're going to update it with one more week of games under our belt, and we're 1 week closer to the college football playoffs. And from a handicapping perspective, Mike Brenner, getting inside of the team's motivations is key, right? Which teams are maybe are feeling pressure, which teams are playing pressure-free, which teams are disappointed, which teams are looking ahead, which teams are thinking what, right, Mike Brenner?
I love it. And yesterday we were doing a video, and you touched on it. This is that week in college football. It's
crazy week.
It is crazy, but like Ross says, there's so many different factors. I mean, you got Ohio State with Michigan. What happens there, what transpires, makes a difference for, several other teams. So since we last did this video with Ross, a lot has changed, and a lot of other scenarios have kind of become more clear. So with that being said, let's turn it over to Ross, because I'm dying to hear what he's got to say.
Ross has done some in-depth research.
RBWins.com. I'm not kidding you. That's the real deal. To keep us all
up to date and up to the minute as far as the college football playoff scenario, Ross Benjamin from RBWins.com. What can you tell us?
Thank you for having me, Pete and Mike. Let's start with this. I'm going to ask you guys a couple questions. So we can clarify stuff right off the bat. I mean, I have Alabama, Michigan, Ohio State, and Washington as the top five right now.
Did you steal my papers off my desk this morning?
We're a long way away. If I can figure out a way to do that, I really have.
You told me you were going to come to Costa Rica. I think you snuck in incognito.
I won't be there, but unfortunately, it hasn't been in the last week. But and the two teams lurking on the outside I see is Wisconsin and Penn State. Some will say Oklahoma. I'm just not seeing it with Oklahoma. No. But having said all that, do we agree on that, or is there any disagreement from either one of you guys?
I can't agree. I disagree at all. Pete?
No, don't disagree.
Okay, well then let's look. I mean, how about this? Can we all agree that Alabama's just about a mortal lock? I mean, they're playing Auburn this week. That's going to be a tough game for them.
But you know what? I think they held back, Ross. I think they held off on the tank against Chattanooga last week, and I think, I know they did it for a reason. I got a feeling it's going to get ugly, and I think they're going to do to them what they did to A&M if it takes a little time. But I think they beat this team down by at least 15 points.
Yeah, well,
that's my opinion. That's my opinion.
Well, even if they were to lose, Mike, worst case scenario, okay? I'm not really concentrating on picking the game, but even worst case scenario, they lose that Auburn, which isn't out of the realm of possibility. Rivalry game. Auburn probably matches up better with them than any team they've played thus far. Having said that, they're still going to have to play a perfect game. If they lose to Auburn by chance, they got Florida in the SEC championship game.
Yeah, to walk.
Okay,
yeah.
That's a walk in the park.
Yep.
So you can't leave Alabama out, even if they lose one game. You might have a hard time leaving them out if they lose two games, correct?
Yeah, but that ain't happening, baby. If that happens, I'm going to move back to the States.
And I'll be flying to Costa Rica because I'll have bullets in my head.
Yeah, there you go.
Now, the winner of the Michigan-Ohio State game, interesting scenario, because if Ohio State wins this game and Penn State wins their game against Michigan State, Ohio State's season is done. They're not even going to be in the Big Ten championship game, and Michigan will be handed their second loss of the year, and they'd have to be on pins and needles on decision day.
Yeah.
And then it would be if, again, I'm just implying, if Ohio State was to win this week against Michigan, it would be a Penn State versus Wisconsin, probably, Big Ten championship.
Yeah, no, and it's a crazy scenario, but one thing that really has kind of quietly taken place, and I know my warning signs are up. Pistol Pete, I want your thoughts. Penn State playing over their head, but I think this is the week they better be on their toes because Michigan State played Michigan pretty tough. They're starting to get that feel of that vibe that they've had, that mojo for the last 4 years. I got a feeling they could go in there and get an outright win. I promise you.
Michigan State.
I really.
Yeah, I mean, I have to do my deeper research, but I'm definitely leaning Michigan State, at least on the spread for now.
Yeah. Ross, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, the only thing, the hesitation I would have with Michigan State is they played two phenomenal games this year against Michigan and Ohio State. Okay, they lost both games, but they were like a 3-touchdown underdog.
Oh, of course.
And they covered easily. but the problem is on the road they've been terrible, Mike.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt. And if this game would have been, Ross, if this game would have been in week 1 or week 2, and Michigan State would have been favored by at least 16 or 17 points. If
absolutely.
It was, yeah.
Absolutely. 100% correct, Mike. And again, I'm not squelching the possibility of an upset here.
Oh, no. Yeah.
But, if you go by, they're a 12-point favorite, and they win at home, and they hold serve, they're going to be – and again, if Ohio State beats Michigan, it's Penn State and probably Wisconsin in the Big Ten championship. Now, if Michigan wins, it becomes a lot clearer. They're going to be the Big Ten champion or the East champion based on their blowout win over Penn State earlier this season. So they would get the tiebreaker. Then we're Michigan, Wisconsin. It's a rematch. If Wisconsin beats Michigan, all hell breaks loose because now you got 3 teams, the top teams in the Big Ten, all with 2 losses, Wisconsin with 2 losses, possibly Penn State with 2 losses, and Wisconsin, yes, they beat Michigan, but Michigan beat them earlier in the year. So it's really a headache to try to figure out the Big Ten, where when we look at Clemson, look, they're going to play South Carolina this week. Stranger things have happened, but I think we'd all agree they're going to get by this game.
Yeah.
And we're talking straight up. So they should put themselves in a favorable position in the ACC title game, probably against Virginia Tech, which won't be a walk in the park like South Carolina will be. But they're in a favorable position this week. And then the one game I'm going to tell you, Washington right now is a 1-loss team. And even with 1 loss, I still think they're going to have a hard time getting in. But I think this is going to be a real difficult game this week when they go to Pullman to take on Washington State, who's coming off.
I don't know, Ross, from that one, and I mean this, and because Washington State, momentum, everything, but when they got ranked and they lost their number 1 receiver, it showed last week, their lethargic offense last week. You got a Washington team under Chris Peterson's never been coached like this, never had the confidence they have. They know they got to get this win, and the fact that they know they absolutely deserve to be amongst the top 4, I think they come and bring it. And guys, I got to go the other way. I'll give you 15 on the side on a bet. I'll give you Washington State in 15.
It's 5.5.
I know, but I'm going to give you 15.
No, you're going to give me 15.
That's what I'm saying, and I mean it. I love you. I swear to God, I'll buy you a whole picture of the best Guadalupe. What do they call that? Yeah, no, Guadalupe. What's that? The tomato juice stuff.
Boy, Mike, why don't you move to the States? You could be my bookie.
No, that's just that one game I think's waiting there. I think it's waiting for an explosion. I really do.
I always respect your opinion.
Chili guado, that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
We're going to respectfully disagree here because I even think Washington State can win this game outright. Just my opinion.
We'll talk after camera.
I'm definitely going to take the points. But anyway, there you have it. I mean, there's nothing easy in this scenario other than Alabama.
Well, there's one easy scenario because really you got 5 teams, and I think Clemson, Washington, Ohio State, Michigan, and obviously Alabama. All right, I think all of them have reason to think they need to be there. And if you look at it, there's some of the best coaches in all of college football wrapped up in that bundle. But we can make everybody's life easier. You know what? There's 5 of them. How about the 4 play off and do what they want to do? Alabama doesn't need to play another game. This damn thing is over. It's over. It's a wrap. That's my opinion. I think that can make everybody's life easier.
It'd be a strong possibility. We're going to have a 2-loss team for the first time in these playoffs, Mike.
Yeah, that could be. That is crazy. That is crazy.
I mean, take a look at it. I guess Washington and Clemson and whoever wins the Ohio State-Michigan game, it's a possibility, that we'll have 3 1-loss teams in there. But I think it's more probable we're going to see at least one 2-loss team in a scenario.
Yeah.
Right.
I took Bama. What was Bama to win the national championship? Plus
last
240?
Last week they were minus 130.
Yeah.
Probably a great bet.
Wasn't a bad price.
Yeah, right. All right, college football playoff implications. Ross Benjamin from rbwins.com. Thanks so much. Talk again very soon.
Thanks, Ross.
Go to SBRodds.com. Browse, compare, and shop live odds available at top online sportsbooks.